Most people will work their entire lives and never escape. Not because they are lazy, not because they are stupid, not because they did not try hard enough, but because they are trapped inside a system that was built to make escape feel impossible. Right now, somewhere in the world, millions of people are waking up. They are tired. They are stressed. They are already worried about money before they even get out of bed. They open their phones, they check their bank account, they check their bills, they check their credit balance, they check their rent. And before the day even starts, they already feel defeated. Because deep down they know something is wrong. They are working, they are showing up, they are doing what they were told. Go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, be responsible, be patient. And yet somehow they are still falling behind. Every year, every month, every paycheck. It feels like running on a treadmill that never stops. No matter how fast you move, you never get ahead. You only get more tired. And most people think this is just life. They think this is adulthood. They think this is normal. But it is not. It is engineered. The truth is, the system does not just trap people with money. It traps them with psychology. It traps them with fear. It traps them with habits. It traps them with comfort. It traps them with exhaustion. It traps them with distractions. It traps them with hope that never quite turns into freedom. From the time you are young, you are trained to be careful. Do not take risks. Do not fail. Do not stand out. Do not question too much. Do what everyone else does. Follow the safe path. Get the stable job. Get the steady paycheck. Get the predictable life. And at first, that feels good. It feels responsible. It feels mature. It feels secure. You feel proud. You feel like you're doing the right thing. But slowly, something changes. Your expenses grow, or your responsibilities grow. Your stress grows. Your time disappears. Your energy fades. And your options shrink. You start needing the paycheck, not wanting it, needing it. You start needing the job, not liking it, needing it. You start needing the system, even when you know it is hurting you, because walking away feels too dangerous, because trying something new feels too risky, because failing feels too expensive. So you stay, you adjust, you adapt, you survive, and survival becomes your entire life. Most people never escape because they are never given space to think. They are kept busy, busy paying, busy working, busy worrying, busy scrolling, busy consuming, busy reacting, never planning, never building, never stepping back, never questioning the rules. By the time someone finally realizes they are trapped, they are already deep inside it. They have bills, they have debt, they have family responsibilities, they have social expectations, they have fear of embarrassment, they have fear of losing everything. And fear is the strongest prison there is. Fear keeps people obedient, fear keeps people quiet. Fear keeps people small. Fear keeps people dependent. Fear convinces people that staying miserable is safer than trying to be free. And here is the most dangerous part. The system rewards this behavior. It rewards people who stay predictable. It rewards people who stay dependent. It rewards people who stay in line. Promotions, loans, credit, approvals, status, small upgrades. Just enough to keep you hopeful. Never enough to make you free. It is like being given crumbs while sitting next to a locked vault. You are told to be grateful. You are told to be patient. You are told your time will come. But for most people, it never does, because the system is not designed for mass escape. It is designed for mass compliance. And every year you stay inside it, it becomes harder to leave. Not because you are weaker, but because the chains get heavier. More bills, more obligations, more dependence, more fear, more risk, more to lose. So people wait. They say next year. They say when I save more. They say when things calm down. They say when I feel ready. But ready never comes. Because the system makes sure you are always tired, always stressed, always distracted, always busy, always uncertain. And this is how most people spend their entire lives. Not broke, not rich, just stuck. Living paycheck to paycheck, dream to dream, year to year, waiting for a break that never arrives. And the saddest part is that most of them never even realize what happened. They think they failed, they think they were unlucky, they think they were not good enough, they blame themselves. When in reality, they were playing a rigged game from the start. The most powerful trap in the system is not poverty. It is comfort. Comfort is what keeps people inside cages they could technically walk out of, because comfort makes pain familiar, and familiar pain feels safer than unknown freedom. Most people do not stay trapped because they are suffering too much. They stay trapped because they are suffering just enough to survive. They have food, they have shelter, they have internet, they have entertainment, they have small pleasures, they have small upgrades, they have occasional vacations, they have little rewards for staying obedient. Enough to numb the pain, not enough to change their life. And this is intentional. If life were unbearable, people would rebel. If life were perfect, people would relax. So the system keeps it uncomfortable, but not unbearable. Stressful, but manageable. Tiring, but survivable. Frustrating, but familiar. That is the perfect level of control. Think about how many people say this. I hate my job, but it pays the bills. I'm exhausted, but at least I'm stable. I'm miserable, but it could be worse. Those sentences are chains. They sound responsible. They sound mature. They sound logical. But they are psychological cages. They convince people to accept less than they deserve, to tolerate what is slowly destroying them, to trade decades of their life for temporary security. And once you accept that trade, it becomes harder to undo because comfort grows roots. You get used to your routine. You get used to your paycheck. You get used to your lifestyle. You get used to your schedule. You get used to your identity. You become the person who works here, the person who lives like this, the person who cannot leave. Your life becomes organized around survival, and changing anything feels like ripping apart your entire world. So people stay, even when they are unhappy, even when they feel empty, even when they feel stuck, even when they feel cheated, because comfort whispers lies. It says, at least you are safe. At least you are not homeless. At least you are not starving. At least you are not failing. At least you are not embarrassed, and slowly you lower your standards. You stop dreaming big, even when they feel cheated. Because comfort whispers lies. It says, at least you are safe. At least you are not homeless. At least you are not starving. At least you are not failing. At least you are not embarrassed. And slowly you lower your standards. You stop dreaming big. You stop imagining freedom. You stop believing escape is possible. You start thinking small, thinking short term, thinking paycheck to paycheck, thinking week to week, thinking survival, not growth, not ownership, not independence, just survival. And survival mode is dangerous because survival mode makes you reactive, not strategic. It makes you emotional, not rational. It makes you desperate, not patient. When people are in survival mode, they cannot build. They cannot invest. They cannot take risks. They cannot think long term. They cannot plan. They cannot experiment. They cannot fail. They cannot pause. They're too busy trying not to drown. So they cling to anything that feels stable, even if it is slowly pulling them under. This is why even intelligent people get trapped. This is why even hardworking people get trapped. This is why even talented people get trapped. Because comfort is more powerful than logic. Fear is more powerful than intelligence. Habit is more powerful than motivation. The system understands this. It designs life to be just comfortable enough so you never explode and never escape. But here's the truth most people never hear. Comfort is not safety. Comfort is delayed risk. It is slow danger. It is quiet decay. It is giving up control today so you can avoid discomfort tomorrow, and paying for it later with interest. Every year you stay comfortable, you lose skills, you lose confidence, you lose courage, you lose momentum, you lose time. And time is the one thing you never get back. By the time most people realize comfort betrayed them, they are already deep inside the trap. Too dependent, too afraid, too tired, too invested, too stuck. And that is exactly where the system wants them. Comfort alone does not trap people forever. every month. Even if someone somehow avoids massive debt, even if they live carefully, even if they budget, even if they do everything right, there is still another force working against them: inflation. Inflation is the silent pressure that turns effort into exhaustion. It is the reason people feel like they are running faster and getting nowhere. It is the reason saving feels pointless. It is the reason wages never feel enough. Inflation does not hit everyone equally. It hits the bottom first, hardest. While assets inflate upward, homes, stocks, businesses, land, everything owned by the wealthy rises faster, while cash loses value. Your savings lose value. Your labor loses value. Your time loses value. Every year, you do nothing. You become poorer, without spending, without mistakes, without failure, just by existing. And this creates panic. People realize their money is shrinking, so they chase yield, they chase promotions, they chase side hustles, they chase risk, they chase debt, they borrow to invest, they invest to catch up, they gamble to escape, and most of them lose. Because the system is designed to reward scale, not effort, ownership, not labor, leverage, not patience. Inflation rewards those closest to money creation: banks, governments, corporations, asset owners. Everyone else pays the price: higher rent, higher food costs, higher insurance, higher healthcare, higher education, higher everything. But wages do not keep up, so people borrow more. Debt increases, fear increases, dependence increases, the trap tightens. This is why escape feels impossible. Because even when you try to do the right thing, the environment works against you. You are swimming upstream while the current gets stronger every year, and the worst part is psychological. Inflation destroys hope. It teaches people that no matter how hard they try, the finish line moves. It makes long-term planning feel pointless. Why save if money loses value? Why plan if rules change? Why delay gratification if tomorrow costs more? So people live shorter timelines. They think short-term, they consume now, they numb now, they distract now, because the future feels unstable. And when people stop thinking long-term, they stop building, they stop escaping, they stop resisting, they become reactive. And reactive people are easy to control. Inflation is not just economic, it is psychological warfare. It breaks patience, it breaks discipline, it breaks trust, and combined with debt and comfort, it creates a perfect prison, invisible, legal, normalized, accepted. And most people never even realize they are inside it. They think they failed, when the environment was designed to exhaust them. But in the final part, you're going to see what actually separates people who remain trapped from the small minority who slowly regain control, not through miracles, not through motivation, but through mindset shifts and structural awareness. So what actually separates the people who stay trapped from the people who slowly break free? It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not connections. It is awareness. The moment you see the system clearly, everything changes. You stop blaming yourself. You stop chasing approval. You stop playing the game blindly. You start asking different questions. Instead of asking, how do I make more money? You ask, how do I reduce dependence? Instead of asking, how do I look successful? You ask, how do I become flexible? Instead of asking, how do I climb higher? You ask, how do I build leverage? The people who escape do not fight the system directly. They sidestep it, they lower fixed costs, they avoid unnecessary debt, they delay lifestyle upgrades, they build skills that cannot be automated easily. They build multiple income streams, they invest in assets instead of appearances, they think long-term when everyone else thinks short-term. They protect their time, because time is the real currency. They protect their optionality, because optionality is real power. They understand something most people never do. Freedom is not about income, it is about control. Control over your schedule, control over your expenses, control over your commitments, control over your risk. The system wants you committed, committed to bills, committed to payments, committed to routines, committed to fear, because commitment without ownership creates obedience. But when you reduce commitments, when you increase assets, when you build buffers, when you lower your lifestyle pressure, when you stop competing socially, when you detach from consumption culture, something changes, the leash loosens. You think clearer, you move differently. You make decisions based on strategy, not survival. You stop reacting, you start planning, you stop chasing, you start positioning. And slowly, over years, not weeks, you create space, space to breathe, space to choose, space to leave, space to risk, space to build. The system does not collapse overnight. You do not escape overnight. But you can stop being owned by it mentally today. And once the mental shift happens, the financial shift follows.